I want you to hear something Donald Trump said this week because it reveals exactly what he thinks about the people who worship him. And it's not what they think. I believe that Donald Trump thinks that MAGA is lazy and dumb. And the man they worship just told them that they're not good enough for what he has promised, the future that he's promised. So let me tell you something that has been sitting with me like all week now, okay? Something that Donald Trump said earlier on Fox News that nobody in his world seemed ready to deal with. And that was Laura Ingraham asked him a very simple question about American workers. And she asked why his administration keeps talking about bringing in foreign labor, why he keeps floating the idea of visas and workers from other countries when he promised American families those jobs. Ha ha ha. And instead of giving one of those easy patriotic lines about American workers being the best in the world, which he usually does, he just finally this time he just said it. But he said what everybody who is not been co-opted by MAGA and Donald Trump and the talking points and all of that, what we already knew. He said that you cannot take people off an unemployment line and put them into a factory making missiles. Now, I don't know if that's true, but the part that I think that is true is that that we need foreign workers in order for our economy to be stable and viable and sustainable. Donald Trump said Americans lack certain talents. Oh boy. He said the country needs workers from other places because the folks right here cannot do the job. Now, can you imagine? You know, when Hillary Clinton said that people who lived in the coal country and all of that, they were going to have to be retrained, she was telling the truth. It wasn't an insult. It was the truth. But MAGA and Donald Trump sold it as, oh my God, it's an insult. But Donald Trump said it this time calmly, almost casually, like he has believed it his whole life and finally forgot to dress it up with the performative patriotic bullshit that he always does. The truth slipped out. Donald Trump thinks Americans are lazy. He thinks that they are unskilled. He thinks that they cannot compete in the global economy. And he thinks the very people who packs his rally will never hold him accountable for saying what he said. Now think about what this man has built his entire movement on. He told people that immigrants stole their jobs. He told them that factories closed because of foreign workers. He told them that they were the forgotten backbone of America. He stood in front of dying towns and promised that he would bring those jobs back, and he fed their pain, and he packaged it as patriotism. You remember the whole, they took our jobs thing, right? Now he is admitting that he never believed that they could do those jobs in the first place. This should make MAGA stop dead in their tracks. This is really the core of the whole identity, MAGA identity, that South Park line. They took our jobs. But Trump is saying the jobs were never yours. Those aren't your jobs, MAGA. You don't have the skills. You do not have the skills. That is what the man said on national television. And what makes this moment even more absurd is how they treat anyone else who says the exact same thing. Okay. Now, I mentioned Hillary Clinton, who said something very similar. She didn't say they had the skills. She said that people needed to be retrained, which was a much more elegant way of saying it and a much more truthful way of saying it. That industry is dwindling and it's dying and people need to be retrained to go on to do other things. That's just common sense, logical. But when Vivek Ramaswamy said it last December, they crushed him. Remember, I talked about that and I laughed at them with their stupid MAGA brains. Now, they did not realize that. He talked about American culture celebrating mediocrity. He talked about sitcoms making kids soft. He talked about immigrant families working harder and studying more. And MAGA lost its collective mind. They attacked his name, his heritage, his loyalty, everything. They dragged him like he insulted the entire country. And then Elon Musk said America does not produce enough engineers. He said tech companies rely on foreign-born workers because there are not enough homegrown STEM graduates. He said that global competition is real, and MAGA turned on him too. The same people who treated him like a folk hero called him a traitor who wanted cheap labor. But now Trump is saying the exact same thing that they attacked Vivek and Musk for. The same message, the same truth. And watch how they try to twist themselves into knots, pretending that he did not say it about them. Even if it comes out of his mouth, he won't believe it. They won't believe it. Now, I said this part earlier in the year. I don't know if you remember. The MAGA was being played by Vivek. Not because his point about the talent gap was wrong, but because the people screaming about the immigrants taking jobs, they don't want to face what is actually happening. The world has changed, everyone. The economy has changed. Technology has changed. Education has changed. Entire industries have changed. That's like saying, I tell people, if you want to, unless they start making these things out of coal, it's changed. Got to get ready. You're going to have to move on. But the thing that hasn't changed, their politics froze in place. That's the problem. And then enter, very recently as well, Ben Shapiro. Now, there's a clip of Ben Shapiro that has been everywhere this week, and you can see something in him that he usually hides. He was raising his voice. He was almost yelling that America is falling behind in technical fields. He said that American kids are not graduating with engineering degrees. He said influencers are replacing innovators. He said other countries are building the future while American students are choosing shortcuts and attention instead of excellence. And you can hear something real in his voice, a kind of panic, because he knows what Trump knows. He knows what Vivek knows. He knows what Musk knows. The problem is not immigration. The problem is that the global economy is moving fast, and large parts of this country are pretending that they can stay in a nostalgia bubble from the 90s or even before then. And Shapiro also knows the movement that worships him does not want to hear this. They'd rather blame a border than confront the reality that they might need to evolve. The same man who has spent years telling his followers that they are the smartest, most overlooked patriots in the room. Now he is on camera saying that the country is slipping behind because talent and training are slipping behind. And MAGA will still pretend that he's not talking to them. Now, let me bring something else in here. This is from The Hill. The Hill ran a piece this week saying that affordability is the most powerful issue in American politics. Not the border, not the nonsense that they argue about online. Affordability. I'm talking about groceries, rent, childcare, healthcare. People are feeling squeezed right now from every single direction. And instead of offering real solutions, MAGA keeps saying the same thing. Blame the immigrants. Blame the visas. Blame the border. Blame the scary brown people. They want people to believe that the price of groceries went up because a stranger crossed the Rio Grande. Nope. Actually, the price of groceries may have gone down because a stranger crossed the Rio Grande. Ask the farmers. Ask the folks in the cattle industry. Meanwhile, decades of consolidation, deregulation, corporate greed, and political neglect are crushing working families. And you can blame that on Republicans. And you can blame the deregulation on Republicans. Hello, Ronald Reagan. Affordability is fixed with policy, not slogans. People who can earn a living wage, which is something that actually Democrats talk about. It's something that Mamdani talks about. Like, people want to be able to have a living wage, a wage where they can feed their families and then have something left over. But, we can't raise the minimum wage. We can't do that. And then you're going to complain about affordability now. That's why Trump's comment earlier this week blew a hole in the whole MAGA message. He's telling the people who voted for him that they cannot do the jobs that he promised them. He's telling them that they are unskilled. He's telling them that they are not prepared. He's telling them the myth that he built his movement on was never real. Now, he says he likes the poorly educated. Are they hip to this? Are they going to catch on to this? Do they know? So let me put this real plain for you. Let me put it plainly. Donald Trump thinks MAGA is lazy and dumb. He thinks that they are props. He thinks they are easy to manipulate. He thinks that they will forgive anything if he keeps feeding them resentment. He does not think that they can compete in a global economy. He does not think that they can rebuild the industries that he paints as America's past glory. He does not think that they are capable of the work he claims he wants to bring back. And the saddest part of it is they will defend him anyway. You know how I love James Baldwin, and I'm just going to say something that he said here. He taught us that if you cannot face the truth about yourself, someone else will define you. Malcolm X taught us that to watch for the trick, to pay attention to the man behind the curtain. And Trump has finally pulled back the curtain on his own movement. He is telling his supporters they are not what he told them they were. He is telling them that the myth was never real. He is telling them their power was a performance. Everything he promised them was built on a lie. And now he has finally spoken the truth. He thinks they are not good enough. He thinks they are not skilled enough. He thinks they are not smart enough. He thinks they are not capable of doing the jobs that he once used to win their loyalty. Again, Trump thinks MAGA is lazy and dumb. He said it, not me. And this time he said it without fear of how they will respond. Because it doesn't matter. He's not running again. And now the truth comes out. Let us know what you think in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Your support means the world to us. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss a show. We're live every weekday at 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern Time with new clips dropping at 2 p. and 8 p. And if you want even more Don Lemon Show content, join the Lemon community. Members get exclusive posts, behind-the-scenes videos, and live chats just for you. So hit the join button or visit our channel page to sign up. Thanks again for all your love and your support, and I'll see you next time.